and the opposition to the secular aspirations that Zionism introduced to the Jewish people. And again, we're going to look at mainly Rabbi Avigdor Miller, who was a contemporary rabbi, like I said, educated in the yeshivas of Europe of old. He was there before the Holocaust. He saw the breakdown of the Judaism, which opened up the nation of Israel to disaster, aka the Holocaust, okay? The advent of political Zionism in the late 19th century and the early 20th century introduced a new challenge to traditional Jewish life. Led by secular figures like Theodor Herzl, Zionism, who, by the way, broke the covenant, didn't do the Brit to his sons. They weren't a part of this covenant. Okay, he baptized his sons, and that's everyone's Zionistic hero, Theodor Herzl. And Zionism emphasized nationalism and the establishment of a Jewish state, often sidelining religious observance. Many Torah scholars viewed Zionism as a dangerous departure from the belief that the Jewish redemption could only come through divine intervention. In the land of Israel, which is a holy land, okay? What the Jews want, what the Jews need, is a kingdom of David and a temple to have this connection to God. But what does Zionism do? They came and created something secular here, and I have many videos on this. State of Israel, and just a sideline here, that the state of Israel with the IDF that stood down on October 7th, okay, is one of the 19 centers for the West's fourth industrial revolution of the New World Order, okay? So Zionists understand, go and look on the WEF webpage, go and understand what the New World Order is, go and understand what Agenda 2030 is, and understand why the Zionist army that has Jews in it, because everybody's confused now. Why? Because Reform Judaism, because of everything that came before us that we just talked about, which all the Gedolei Ador, all the geniuses of those times warned us against, have eroded the nation of Israel, have made us vulnerable to the attacks of outside, have severed our very important relationship with God. And we have allowed this because we lack knowledge. We lack the wisdom because we don't learn Torah, mostly because we don't understand Hebrew. Okay? So the whole thing, and Rabbi Avigdor Miller, I'm just pointing out, although there were many, many Torah giants who opposed Zionism, but he was a prominent Orthodox rabbi and a strong Jewish thinker, known for his strong opposition to Zionism. Why? Because his objections reflected both theological and practical concerns rooted in Judaism. And his main objections were that the Zionist movement, in its essence, was a secular project, as we discussed about Theodor Herzl. He was deeply concerned that Zionist leaders rejected Torah observance and promoted nationalism as a substitute for Judaism. And you can see the results today. Mi chacham, who is smart, mi shero'eh et hanolad, somebody who can look into the future based on the information and understand the outcomes. And the outcome was basically that now all of the Jews rely on the state and rely on the IDF to save them from another Holocaust. But that did not happen on October 7th. You now don't have to think about if that's true, if it's not true. You have the information, you have the actual reality on October 7th. And Rabbi Avigdor Miller believed that the Jewish identity should not be defined exclusively by, that it should be defined just exclusively by the Torah and by the mitzvot, by learning Torah and practicing Judaism, and nothing else. okay, and the fear of assimilation and spiritual damage that this atheistic and national movement of Zionism caused. Rabbi Avigdor Miller warned that Zionism, with its secular leadership, could lead Jews away from Torah observance. And that is exactly what happened. The majority of the Jews in Israel are not observant Torah Jews, and in fact, they hate the Orthodox Jews in the state of Israel. And nothing about the state of Israel is Jewish. Nothing about the state of Israel is Jewish. The laws are not the Torah laws. Okay, the practices are not Jewish practices. The people hate the Orthodox Jews here. In order to live as an Orthodox Jew, you need to live in a ghetto. It is extremely, extremely expensive because there's limited supply in those ghettos. It is hard to find a place to live that has a sukkah balcony. It is not a Jewish country. It is not for the Jews. When you go to, let's say, an Arab country, there are certain laws by Islam or whatever that you have to follow, and you're expected to follow them even as a tourist. But here in the state of Israel, there are no Jewish laws that anyone's expected to follow because they're not incorporated into the state of Israel, the laws. Okay? Now, there were other rabbis who opposed Zionism. I'm just going to list them right now, and you can go and look up their objections. Rabbi Wasserman, who was the Rosh Yeshiva of Baranovich and a prominent student of the Chafetz Chaim. Rabbi Soloveitchik, the Brisker Rav. Rabbi Aaron Kotler. Rabbi Sonnenfeld, and many, many, many others. These rabbis shared the belief that the redemption should only occur through divine intervention with the coming of the Mashiach. We need the Mashiach. We need to reinstate the kingdom of David, especially here in the Holy Land, and obtain the temple, which will reconnect us to God, which will reconnect this reality to God.